Long Island is reopening its beaches through Memorial Day to give people the opportunity to enjoy the holiday weekend, right? But many beaches, they are restricting access to residents of cities, towns, and either Nassau or Suffolk County to ensure the safety of residents and also to make sure that they enjoy what their tax dollars pay for. And that, well, that's turned into a bit of a tit for tat. Mayor de Blasio urging New York City residents to stick to New York City beaches. And New York City Councilman Keith Power is tweeting this in response to Long Island closing its beaches to New York City residents, saying that we have no choice but to permanently cancel SantaCon and also limit St. Patrick's Day festivities to New York City residents only. All right, so let's continue this conversation. Joining us now is Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone. So good morning to you, County Executive. Thank you for making the time this morning. First off, I want to get your response to all the controversy surrounding the decision to make many of the Long Island beaches residents only, specifically that tweet then from the councilman.
Yeah, it's really hard to understand what the controversy is here. We're reopening our beaches in this unprecedented circumstance with state order of 50% reduced capacity. The fact that a number of municipalities, including New York City, have made the decision not to open their beaches will only increase the problem with capacity issues. So it's really a common sense measure to say that the people in Suffolk County who are paying to staff these beaches with significantly more staff this weekend to prepare so we can do this safely, that operate these beaches, that they'll be able to have access during this time. And it's a temporary measure, and we'll be evaluating on an ongoing basis as we move forward.
So not to belabor the point here, but do you think that New York City should actually open those beaches? And I know Nassau County Executive Laura Curran did speak with Mayor de Blasio. I'm wondering if you did as well.
No, I appreciate, though, the mayor's comments where he said he understood why Long Island was limiting capacity, limiting access to our beaches this weekend to residents, given the circumstances. And this really shouldn't be a controversial decision. Municipalities have to make their own decisions. I respect that the mayor has made that decision. He believes it's the right thing to do for New York City. This is the right thing to do for Suffolk County and our residents on Long Island. Long Island, the summer is a part of our quality of life. It's why people live here, and we've been cooped up for months. It's time to reopen, and we have to show we can do this in a safe way.
So what does that safety look like, right? How do you plan on enforcing 50% capacity? How do you plan on enforcing the fact that it's Suffolk County resident only? Because folks from Nassau may cross the border, right? So what are you doing there to keep everybody safe?
Well, we will be checking for either what we have as green key cards or driver's licenses. People come in to check residency. But from there, it's really providing information and having the staffing in place necessary to ensure social distancing on the beach. People will be able to come. Face coverings will be required when you're in the public areas. But when you're in your space on the beach with your family, your household, or you're in the water, we have more lifeguards to spread things out. You don't have to have that face covering on. But when you're out and about on the boardwalk or at the concession or in the restrooms, you have to have that face covering on to protect others.
And do you think that it'll actually fill up pretty quickly? So what is your benchmark for 50% capacity, right? Because we've never been in this kind of time where you judge the amount of people on a beach. So what point do you just turn that valve off and say, okay, sorry guys, you can't come on the beach?
Yeah, we have it pretty well determined. We've never had to do this before, but to analyze the size of the beach and understand how far apart each group needs to be. So we'll have communications so that we can rapidly communicate back to the booth, back to people who are controlling the signage on the roadways, so that we can communicate as quickly as possible, because we don't want people traveling to the beach if it's closing down. But we do want to get reopened and do it safely. And I think if we can show here that we can do this safely, Memorial Day is the traditional start of the summer season, but in this unprecedented time, it's really the transition to reopening our economy. And if we can prove we can do it safely here, I think that'll be a real shot in the arm to everyone.
And last question on the beaches. After this weekend, moving forward, as the temperatures do get warmer, because this weekend won't be too warm, right? But next weekend might be. Are you hoping that New York City might change their mind on the beach situation to ease the pressure on you and your county?
Again, every municipality has to make their own decision, but I do think, and we've tried to take a regional approach all the way, I think to the extent that the region is acting in unison across the board, it is a helpful thing, yes.
So looking elsewhere now besides the beaches, because that was a big conversation, but I want to talk about biggest priorities for you for the rest of the county, right? As we look towards a reopening plan regionally, like you said, what is your biggest obstacle right now that you're facing in Suffolk County?
Well, we're working to meet the metrics that have been laid out by the state to open safely. And for us, it's really three things. It's making sure that businesses, as we move towards phase one reopening, they have those safety plans in place. We're very confident this is what businesses do. They adapt, they adjust, and they're going to want to protect their employees and their customers. We have to have the contact tracing in place and testing. We're getting close to that. And then most importantly, we need the public to continue to follow that health guidance, social distancing, wearing face coverings. They've done an incredible job of really helping to flatten the curve here. Now we need to keep it flattened. And that's why it's important that we maintain the trust of the public and do things that make sense. And I think moving forward now, as we reopen beaches and show we can do that safely, it means moving forward with reopening our economy so we can get on the road to recovery.
Mm-hmm. All good points. I say time and time again that we are responsible here individually for the path forward. Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone, appreciate your time this morning. Hope everything goes smooth for you and the lifeguards and everybody on the beaches this weekend.
Thank you. Good to be with you.